Hi there guys, welcome back. We're going to do some factorising quadratics now. So we're going to factorise some quadratic expressions, and I'm going to look at some questions which are in the Corbett booklets. This is factorising quadratics from the Corbett Maths booklets. There's a few videos which they provide. I'm just doing my own ones for my students, okay? So let's take an easy-ish one to start off with. So let's take this one in question 2. So we're going to do factorise x squared plus 5x plus 6. Okay, well, if you've had lots of practice with expanding brackets, factorising won't be too difficult. Now, when we expand brackets, let's have a look at this again. You should have noticed, after you've got quite a bit of practice, that when you multiply them out, you're going to get 3x and 4x for your two middle terms, which is going to give you 7x in this case. And that's just the addition of your two numbers at the end. And you're going to get 3 times by 4 there as well, which is plus 12. Okay, so we're basically, when we multiply out, we're going to get two numbers, these two numbers here, and if you add them together, you add those two numbers together, you get the number in the middle, so the coefficient of x. And if you times them together, you get the number at the end. Now that only works when you've got one lot of x here and here. If you have different numbers in front of x, there's a different technique. Okay, but we're dealing with the simple ones to start off with. Okay, so let me just clear everything there. Let's just remind ourselves again what we're looking for, or what this is going to have come from when we've multiplied out the brackets. So we're doing this backwards now, is that the two numbers at the end will have added together. So we'll have added together to come up with the answer of 5, but they will have times together to give us the answer of 6. So we're looking to solve this puzzle here. Okay, we need two numbers that make that work. Okay, so what are the two numbers that make that work? Well, let's think about it. Something plus something is 5. Something times something is 6. This is not a difficult puzzle, okay? These get much harder. Obviously 2 and 3. Okay, 2 times 3 is 6. 2 plus 3 is 5. We've solved the puzzle, so we're going to put in 2 and 3 there. It doesn't matter which way around you do this. Now, if you want to check your answer, you can multiply out the brackets using FOIL again. That's a good thing to do. You want to know that you're right. Okay, x times x is x squared. 2 times x is 2x. X times 3 is 3x. The 2x and 3x go together to make 5x. 2 times 3 is 6. Good. Right, done. Okay, so let's look at the next one then. So let's look at question 3 there. Because it's still got all the pluses. Okay, it's got the pluses in that makes it a bit easier. The negatives are going to be a bit more difficult. Okay, so again, we're going to set up our problem here, and our problem is this. We have something times something, something add something is 9, something times something is 20. 20, okay. So we need to find that something and that something there. Now, let me just fill in the rest and put an x there and an x there. And put a plus there and a plus there, because I know it's going to be pluses for this one. So what are we going to get out here? What two numbers work? Well, 3 plus 6 is 9. 3 times 6 is 18, so that doesn't work. And maybe let's think about our factors of 20. Well, 2 times 10 is 20. 2 plus 10 isn't 9. 4 times 5 is 20. And 4 times add 5 is 9. Yeah, 4 add 5 works. Okay, so 4 and 5 and 4 and 5 there work. Okay, so we've got 4 in there and we've got 5 in there. Okay, well that's working. You can multiply that out and you can check that that's working. But basically this relies on you setting up the puzzle. Let's set up the puzzle again just to remind ourselves what we're doing. We're doing something plus something is the middle term, and something times something is the last term. Now, sure, 2 times 10 works for the last term, but it has to fit the middle term as well. The something plus something is 9. So, we have to solve that little puzzle. The question marks, like in this case, need to be same. 4 and 5 and 4 and 5. That solves the puzzle. Okay, well, let's look at a negative version of this as well, one which involves a negative too, because those ones get a bit more tricky. So let's take this. So let's take question 1. Actually, question 1 is a bit more complicated than 2 and 3. So again, let's set up the puzzle. We've got something plus something is something times something is. Got those two things? Something times something is minus 6. Something plus something is, there's a hidden 1 there. Okay, this one says x squared if you can't see it, plus x minus 6. And there's kind of a hidden 1 there in front of the x. So we've got equals to 1. Okay, now again, we've got to try and solve that problem. Something plus something is 1. Well, there's lots of numbers that add together to equal to 1. I could do, minus 10 and plus 11. That works. So there's an infinite number of combinations. But let's think about the factors of 6. So we can have 2 and 3. Right, but one of the numbers has to be negative to get a minus 6. So we could have minus 2 and plus 3. Or we could have plus 2 and minus 3. But also we could have 1 and 6. That works too. So we could have 1 and 6. But again, we can have 1 and 6 the other way around. So we could have minus 1 and plus 6. And you could have plus 1 and minus 6. Now, you've probably seen this one already. In that it's the first one which I chose there, the minus 2 and the plus 3, which is going to give us a total of 1. So that's the only combination which worked out of the 4 combinations which did work for the multiplication, which gives you the plus 1. Okay, so final answer here is then going to be x, what do we say? Plus 3 and x minus 2. Okay, so again, let's just check on that one. Just be really clear on that one. So we've got 3 and minus 2 adds together to give minus 1, or to give plus 1. And then we've got 3 and minus 2 gives us minus 6 there as well. Okay, so that's done. Let's maybe choose another question from Corporate Maths. So let's go to, let's go to one of those which has got a minus and a plus, but a plus at the end. So let's look at that one. Okay, so question 5 is a bit different again. So for this one, we've got, again, same puzzle though, right? Puzzle is the same every time. So the puzzle, every time when you've got just x squared. If you had 3x squared, it's a bit different. Okay, so you've got something plus something is minus 7, and something plus something, getting tired here, times something is equal to 12. Okay, now 12's got a lot of factors, but so I could have like maybe something like 6 and 2. But if I did x plus 6 and x plus 2, say I was feeling confident about that, I'd then not be able to get any minuses out. So the other way of getting plus 12, if you guessed it, is to get 2 minuses there. So if I do minus 6 and minus 2, that's going to give us plus 12. Okay, so does minus 6 and minus 2 work? Does that work? Does that give us, when we add them together, does it give us minus 7? No. Okay, it gives us minus 8. So that's not particularly good. So let's think of some other numbers that will times together to give 12. Well, we've got 12 and 1. Again, we could do minus and minus. Pens are running out. Minus and minus, but I know they add together to give minus 13. So neither of those are good. And I think we've got one more combination left of two numbers. So that's 3 times by 4. And we're going to put minuses in front of both of them. And we can see that those add together to give -7. So this is good. Okay, so the final answer for this one is going to be -3 there and -4. Again, you can check that by multiplying out by using FOIL. Okay, final recap on all of these questions. On all of these questions where you've just got x squared. Okay, so when it's x squared and then something, 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 you need to make sure that you have something plus something in those final brackets. Okay, it's going to give you the middle number. Okay, and something times something is going to give you the end number. Okay, like for example, in this case, the middle number was -7. And in this case, the end number was +12. Okay, so if you can solve that puzzle, then you can do the factorization. Okay, guys, well, good luck with the exercises. And yeah, remember that there are some really good questions in this factorization exercise, factorizing quadratics in corporate mathematics. But there are obviously lots of different books which will have these questions in as well. This is really standard IGCSE, GCSE type level questions. Okay, guys, thanks for listening in and good luck with the exercises.